Hi Wild Woman, it's Elizabeth here. Before we start to go into our deep dive into the conversation that we have today, which is amazing, I really wanted to let you know that this opportunity is available for you. I have a special teaching that's happening, Wild Woman Spiritual Teaching, in the private Facebook group. I will put the link below for you. I wanted you to know that it's happening over the next 3 weeks. It's all free. I'm creating a course called Awaken Through 1000 Eyes. Some of it's already created and some of it is happening right now. And I wanted you to know that you can be part of this too. I adore you. I love that you've been watching these videos, and we remember that she, Wild Woman, is both magic and medicine. So if you are interested in that, be sure to click the link below. It'll say private Facebook group. It's called the Wild Woman Enchanted Network, and I would love to have you be part of that. If you want to take these conversations that we have here even deeper, let's do even more. Today we're going to be talking about a question that came from the Wild Woman Squad. It's a good one, and it really is why I wanted to say something in the beginning of this video as well, so that you'd have the opportunity to really walk that path. All right, Wild Woman, let's get started. Hi, Wild Woman. Welcome to the Wild Woman Enchanted Studio. We're here today to answer questions from all you Wild Women out there, and we have one today that is fantastic from the lovely Miss X. I'm sure you know who you are. And it is, how do I know if I'm on the right path? Hey Wild Woman, hi, I'm Elizabeth McLeod. I'm the author and illustrator of the Wild Woman Mystery Cards.
And I'm Sarah Sahota, and I'm a speaker and a life artist.
And we're here today to help you live a wild and free life. So today we're tackling the question, how do I know if I'm on the right path?
Great question.
How many times have you asked yourself that question, right?
Well, in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you're not on the path, maybe we don't ask that question. So just putting that out there right away. So, because one of the things of how do you know if you're on the right path is you start asking questions. When you're not on the path, when you're living in what I would call the gray zone, where you're kind of dead inside, or you're just doing the routine, because of course we Wild Women don't really like routines. When you start asking the question, that is an indication that you are in fact on the right path.
Yeah, and there really is no right or wrong path. We were discussing this a few hours ago off camera and discussing about those times in our life when really, in retrospect, we know it was right path, but in the moment it definitely felt, not like the right path. It was like the wrong path, like this shouldn't be happening path.
And I think that's a really good point to bring up, because I think part of knowing you're on the right path is when you start to feel inadequate, or you're pushing the edges and you feel afraid more than you don't, more than you feel comfortable, because we're kind of living in that, and we're not told that in fact, like there's this consciousness of, I don't know, this sort of like have to be a certain way. Yeah. But being on the right path requires us to actually ask all these things and not conform in the same kind of way. Yeah. I don't know if I'm saying that.
Yeah, and there's a couple of ways to know that you're on the right path. One is synchronicities, for me anyways. I know I'm on the right path when things show up in my life.
Yes, it's sort of magical.
Number two is you're really uncomfortable. Yeah. And so often we think the right path is comfortable and happy. Yeah. And oftentimes the right path is quite uncomfortable. And it's the times when you really question yourself and doubt yourself, and you're exiting kind of how you know yourself to be, or how you know your life to be. You exit the familiar.
That's right. And sometimes when you're doing that kind of thing, it's when you're physically exhausted at the end of the day, but mentally satisfied.
Yeah.
When you're feeling that sort of like, oh my God, I just have to sleep. Like we were last night when we were doing some tapings, and we just like, boom, out. Yeah, physically exhausted, but also mentally satisfied.
Yeah, we think the right path is going to be like where the flowers are.
And that we should know. Like when you say this, like we should know what that path is.
We should have a plan, and then we're on the right path to the plan.
But one of the clues would be, in fact, that you don't have a clue what comes next.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like the opening to the path of wisdom, knowing where you are when you put your foot on the ground.
We did an episode too on listening to the deeper voice. Eckhart Tolle calls it the deeper eye. Some people call it God, source, whatever you want to call it. But the right path, for me anyway, is when I'm following that. And that leads me to places like here. It leads me to be with my family. It leads me in all kinds of directions.
Right.
And sometimes to my humanness, that feels like the WTF path.
Yeah.
And yet I know it's the right path.
Yeah, so here you mean like here doing this with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like so sort of it's like that comfort zone sort of gets sort of pulled out of your place.
That's
and
right.
You don't really have a clue what's next and you start to ask a lot of questions. That's another key. Another way to notice if you're on the right path is that you start to seek out teachers. If you're seeking out teachers and trying to find sort of your way, that's a really good way to know.
And looking at the people around you, they say you're the average of the 5 people around you. So how do you know if you're on the right path? I hate that word right, but I'm going to use it for you anyway.
What is right?
You know, you look around you and are the people in your close circle who you want to be or know yourself to be?
Well, it's really when we say right, what we mean is aligned. Is
That's
this
right.
the one, is this aligned with my
Are you in
soul?
alignment?
Yeah. And
'Cause-
so that,
oh.
you know, and part of that comes from, you know, I mean, and here's the other thing too that I come up with, another point of how to know, is you're thinking of the future more than you're thinking of the past.
Yeah.
And so like these are just little clues along the way. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
and I'll put a guide down, just go down below and I'll put a link there for you and I'll put all these things in a place where you can just read them really quickly so that you can have sort of a checklist of how do I know I'm on the right path? How do I know if I'm aligned?
Yeah, and you know, stay tuned for an episode that we're doing on future writing, or what I call writing from the finish line, or living from the finish line. And that may help as well. But please, please, please remember that the right path is not the one in which the roses grow on and you never get hurt and you never get challenged and you always succeed and you always get the result that you're going for. The aligned path is one where you listen and follow.
Where you follow your soul. So let's just do a quick card. And I think too what we're saying is the right path is the path that feels good for you. Brilliance. So really the key is, I mean, the simple answer is, are you happy there? Are you happier? But that doesn't mean that all these things don't come along, like you don't seek out a teacher, that you don't feel more afraid, that you're kind of sometimes uncomfortable, that, you know, that all these things that we're talking about don't exist, but your brilliance can shine, of course, and that's why you're asking. It's such a great question, because you know what? We get lost in, am I on the right path? We just don't know what that means.
You're always on the right path.
Yeah, and the right doesn't
Miss
mean
X,
feeling
you
good
are
all
always
the time.
there. No, I felt shitty a lot.
Yeah.
And when I say shitty, I can't even explain shitty to you guys.
Yeah.
Shitty. And if I look at my life today, it was all the right path. I was always in alignment.
You know, and another thing, just as a little tiny clue, and I'll put this in the download as well, in the guide, is when you start to have dreams that are very intense and you start to remember them and the lucidity of them, it's your soul speaking to you. So listen to that too. That's another clue.
So many ways our soul speaks.
Yeah.
Listen and follow, listen and follow, listen and follow, and you are in alignment.
That's right. So thank you so much for your question. I loved it because it made me really think about, you know, how do we know? What is it that we are really actually asking there?
My inner bitchdom is like, right, just the word right.
Well, that's the conditioning that we're in, right? The conditioning of right is really what we're asking is, am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I where I want to be? Am I where do I feel aligned? Really, right means if you take it beyond that, I'm in the evolution that I need to be in. Like,
You're doing a great job. That you asked that question, even Miss X, means you're doing a great job.
Well, it means you're on the right path.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
If you liked our video, please subscribe below. Share this with your friends. We're all concerned about this question.
Let us know what you noticed to tell you that you are on the right path. Let's share it with each other. All right, Wild Woman, thank you so much. Love the question. And until we see you next time, bye. Stay wild.